I've had a brilliant idea. So brilliant that I have to share it with the rest of you guys in another farming video, and my eyes are still glitching out from the last video. Well, anyways, pumpkin and melon farms have been the same for a very long time now. They follow a very specific pattern, and generally they've been the same. They haven't changed much. So today I'm going to be trying to change that. I'm going to try to make a new pumpkin and melon farm. So real quick, I'm going to make a quick model of what a pumpkin and melon farm currently looks like. Alright, so this is a very rough sketch of a current melon and pumpkin farm. Basically, you have a melon stalk right here. I didn't put it in there because I'm too lazy. A melon grows, or a pumpkin, and then that updates the stalk, which causes the pumpkin to come out. Now, the problem with this is it only produces one pumpkin, and that can get pretty pricey. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to construct a very new and cool and cheap model. So let's start diving into this. I need to run a very real and very important test that could change the entire nature of the farm. That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. So let's start working on the farm, shall we? So first things first, we need a track for a minecart like this. And as you can see, I've made it pretty big. No, it doesn't have to be this big. It could really be any size. Just know that the size of this determines the size of the farm. Also, for block choice, it does not have to be any kind of wool or this color. It could be anything you want, really. I just chose this because it's very vibrant and it helps me work on the farm. So next, above this, what you're going to want is a layer of dirt. The reasoning for this is that pumpkin and melons only grow in dirt. And outside this layer of dirt, you're going to want another ring of dirt, but this time only facing the sides like this. You don't want the corners in there, simply because that can disrupt the farm in the future. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to place some water somewhere in the farm. I'm just going to be placing it somewhere around here, and I just realized I have no blocks there. That was rather silly. Let me grab a new kind of wool for this. Here we go. Blue will mark the water sources. So basically now, I just kinda gotta place my wool here. This was completely accidental and my brain just wasn't running. So I'm gonna place water in every corner, and I just realized, why is this corner different? Oh boy, what have I done? After placing water on every corner, you're gonna wanna till the ground on the outer edges, mind you, nowhere else. And just till these areas because this is going to be where your pumpkins or melons are going to be growing. I'm going to be using pumpkins in this example just because I want to. Now you're going to want to do this step first just because these can grow while the farm is being built. And by the way, even you could do this even if the farmland isn't quite there yet, because, well, the seeds will force the farmland in place while the water, well, waters it. So now the pumpkins can only grow on these blocks. Now normally there'd be an observer and pistons involved, but obviously, as you may have guessed from that first test, I'm going to be using a Ravager instead. I have now placed a rail cart in position, so basically this is going to hold a Ravager. Now before I get to that, something I do want to try is placing some slabs and or trapdoors. I'll do trapdoors for now, but right here essentially. One thing I'd like to note while I just get this first couple trapdoors sorted is that when I was building this, for some reason it was glitching, whereas you see the cart, it would freeze up, even though it was a smaller track than the bottom one, it needed more rails. I'm not sure why that's the case, but it is. So I'm going to place the rest of these trapdoors. What these trapdoors are supposed to do is they're supposed to block the pumpkins from flying out from over here or over here. They should trap them underneath this minecart's range. So now, as you can see, I've established a makeshift ramp, and the Ravager is currently doing its job. I was going to show you how to catch these, but apparently you don't need to. You just kind of lead them up to it, and they'll do it themselves. But really, what I usually do is I just place a boat right in front of them and attach a lead, and before you say, what do you know about Ravagers? You can't just do this in survival. I've caught a dozen of them in survival. Believe me, I know the troubles of dealing with them. So I'm just going to try to get this guy up here like I normally would. He's not being cooperative, which is kind of weird. I kind of pride myself on catching mobs, but, you know, this guy doesn't want to listen. I don't really care that much. This is a creative test video. Doesn't matter as much. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to... What the heck is happening? Oh, That is what's happening. Oh. You know what? No one saw this. No one saw this. There we go. See? All nice and... Oh my goodness. It's not really my problem. I'm in creative. I can just spawn one. There we go. He is now in place. There's really nothing else I need to do besides bone meal these crops a few times. Alright, so that's the farm complete. Obviously it's not this efficient. I just turned the random tick speed up so that I could show you guys as an example. But it does work perfectly. As you can see, the pumpkins spawn and then they're destroyed by the Ravager. They are then collected by the minecart and it's surprisingly cheap and efficient. Obviously the biggest flaw is you have to collect a mob like a Ravager. Well, you have to collect a Ravager period, but it's not as bad as you'd think when it comes down to it. Because, well, they're not that hard to catch. If you guys want like a more detailed way of catching them, maybe ask me. I might post something about that in the future. But this would be the farm complete. A couple other things I'd like to note. It doesn't look like my collection system is perfect. That is obviously a problem. I'm going to see if I could patch that in some way, shape, or form, but it doesn't look like it. So for now, this is good. What I could do actually is run a second hopper minecart. It might collide with the Ravager, but if I just run one like right here, it will collect any spares and you could just hook that up obviously to the next one, and as long as they don't ram into each other, that should collect all the ones on that front. And then an obvious remedy for this one would just be to run a second minecart system back here. Now, it is very, very efficient only because the random tick speed is up, but if I were to turn it down in my settings, like so, you'd see it's a lot slower. That was really just to show really how the Ravager collects them. Obviously, it wouldn't be that fast. It would be just about the speed of a normal pumpkin growth because it is a normal pumpkin growth. And it is very, very efficient for what it is. Because normally these are overly priced and kind of excessive. To note is that you do need these lights here, otherwise they won't grow at night. And that is just a staple of any pumpkin farm, considering they all sort of run off the same, well, plant. So this is the completed farm. It is extremely stackable. Technically, I could add a row of pumpkins right here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do that. I've messed around a bit, and as you can see, well, I added a second part of the farm, which is now inside. So basically, to construct this, you just repeat the pattern that I showed earlier, and you would just do that on the inside. It's pretty easy, you just need to apply some common sense and you'll get it. Also, I did swap out the trapdoors for stairs. The shape fit the hitbox a bit better, and there is less drops, like less loss on the farm. So I think that's a win. Now, one thing I would like to note is there is going to be loss just because of the shape of the farm. I don't think there's anything you could do for that, or at least I'm too stupid to fix anything up for that. So this is going to be how the farm has to stay. Now it is, as I mentioned before, a good looking farm, and one thing I could actually do to fix this is just add another minecart rail right here. Easy solution. It would fix it pretty quickly. You may have to tweak the water sources a bit, but it's fine. Anyways, on to what I was actually talking about. It is a good looking farm. It seems to be working perfectly actually by the looks of it, and I think it's a real innovative solution for, well, the current, well, you know, lack of pumpkin farms, especially in Bedrock Edition. In Java, they have flying machine pumpkin farms, but sadly, they're not as easy to build in Bedrock, and, well, I think this is a cool looking farm for what it is. I mean, obviously, I doubt you'd go through such great measures to get pumpkin and melons, but I think this is pretty cost-effective for what it is. So I do hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial I just showed you, and I really do like this farm. It's probably my favorite one I've ever built, just because, I mean, look at it. Look how cool that is, with the Ravager and the minecarts going off, and just even the design I went for and the shape, and oh my god, I just love it. Well, like I said, that is all. You can stack this more, but I'm not going to be showing that here just because, well, way too much work. Anyways, I will be seeing you guys in the next hardcore video. And just like that, I've solved the crisis of the overexpensive pumpkin and melon farm. So I'm going to be expecting server invites from left, right, and center. I'm sure Hermitcraft is going to want me in it now because I've designed such an ingenious farm. So yeah, better look out for my next Hermitcraft episode.